Welcome to Produce Talks.
This whole business is based on relationship and friendships.
Food is darn simple.
What can we do? What are other countries doing?
How important it is for industry to be talking about this.
We're going back to the farm. We're going back to the whole food.
Hi, I'm Wally Burns, the Education and Training Manager at CPMA. In this episode of Produce Talks, we listen to the recording of a learning lounge from the recent CPMA Annual Convention and Trade Show in Vancouver. Moderator Jessica Levac of Bellemont, Powell leads a discussion with 4 other women as they speak about the power of mentorship, how they have benefited from mentors, and how women can get involved in a mentorship program. They also share key insights for other women in the industry. Our panelists are Devon Kennedy of Highline Mushrooms, Kate Isaacson of Fresh Direct Produce, Dorothy Redick of FirstFruits Farms, and Colleen Goto of Freshpoint, Vancouver. You can subscribe to Produce Talks on Apple Podcasts, Simplecast, Spotify, and on most other podcast players. Welcome, Jessica and the panel.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. My name's Jessica. I'm Director of Sales at Bellemont Powell, and I'm thrilled to be moderating today's panel discussion on mentorship, right? So as chair of the CPMA Women in Produce Working Group, I'm deeply committed to fostering collaboration and growth within our community. I myself started in this industry 12 years ago, and I know firsthand how important mentorship is for women in produce. So throughout our session, we'll be discussing the power of mentorship, the positive impact a good mentor can have on someone's professional growth, and the qualities to look for in a mentor, and how you could possibly become a mentor to someone searching for mentorship right now. So without further ado, let's dive right in and channel the wisdom of our panelists here today. So ladies, thank you for joining us. So we're going to start with a quick round of introductions. If you could please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit more about your role in your company. We're going to start with Devon.
Sure. I'm Devon Kennedy. I'm the National Marketing Manager at Highline Mushrooms. I've been in the produce industry for almost 20 years, which is fun. I love it, but it's a little scary.
Come, Devon.
I'm Kate Isaacson. I'm with Fresh Direct Produce. I'm the procurement manager with them, and I've been working with them for about 7 years now.
I'm Dorothy Redick. I work for FirstFruits Farms. We are an apple and cherry and pear grower in Washington State. This is year 14 for me, so it's an exciting industry to be in. So thanks you all, too, for being here.
So, sorry about my voice, everybody. I'm Colleen Goto. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Freshpoint, Vancouver. I'm also the General Manager of our Food Service Division. And obviously, I'm the most senior person here, which makes me very sad. I've been in this business now for 33 years. Yeah, a lot.
Welcome, Colleen. So as you can tell from our panel composition, right, so we have a diverse group of panelists, right, ranging from different roles in the industry and different levels of seniority. So I'd like to invite each of you to share your perspectives on mentorship and the role it has played in your career. And I'm going to start with Colleen this time.
I think mentorship is incredibly important, especially when you start out, because you're unsure of yourself, you're unsure of your role, and you need someone to help you guide your way. I had a really good mentor. He's my boss, Brian, who never said no to anything I wanted to try, if I wanted to try it. Was always my biggest supporter. Told me, he's been in the business for like 50-something years, so he'd already been in the business for 20 years when I got there. And he just told me different pitfalls to look for, not as a female, but just as a person who worked in produce, and to look for those and just to make sure that, as long as I did my job and as long as I was upfront and honest about it, I could move ahead and it wouldn't matter whether I was a female or a male. That was a little bit true and a little bit not, but I appreciated the fact that he took that time to really show me and explain to me and let me make my mistakes, but also let me try like a million different things, which was so important.
Absolutely.
Go
ahead,
next.
Dorothy. Yeah.
I'm very thankful that early in my career I had people that I worked around and with that saw my potential and believed in me and challenged me to do the things that I didn't think I was ready for, but they saw I was. You know, if you wait until you're ready, sometimes you might miss an opportunity. Go for it. And so for me, I can think about a couple people in my life that, you know what, there's some really pivotal points that go for it. And the other thing I wanted to speak to was that they let me bring my own personality. You know, everybody's got unique gifts and talents, and if you try to do something just like someone else, you might not bring as much of yourself, and we all have gifts. So, you know, be who you are, find your niche, and
I'm assuming I'm next.
Yes, you're next.
I guess for me, like when I first started out in the industry, I looked around and I felt very alone and very isolated in terms of who was around me, and not seeing a lot of women within the industry at the time when I did start, which was only like 10 years ago, but at Fresh Direct 7. And then so once I came into the Passion for Produce program, which was I was in the 2022 class, and I met all of these amazing women, and I was able to meet some mentors and stuff through that program. And so being able to not feel so alone and isolated and know that you still have like a commonality within where you are, and then being able to also just like bounce questions off, or have you ever experienced this, or anything like that, really allows you to boost yourself up and feel more confident in your role. So yeah, that was my experience.
Devon?
So my first mentor is sitting in the audience, but Dawn Gray said to me on one of my first days, just come into my office and listen to my phone conversation, listen to this, listen to everything that we're doing. And it was exposure. Like, she was just exposing me to so much and things that were new to me. But then all of a sudden one day we were on a phone call with someone, and she said, okay, now it's your turn. Like, give your thoughts, give your advice. So making you go out there and risk things, but putting you on the spot. And then relationships. So I've known Dawn all these years, and we catch up. I can pick up the phone and call her, or I see her at the show. And I think just those relationships that you build over time are always there, especially in the produce industry. So.
Well, thank you, Dawn. So CPMA is putting together a membership program with the Women in Produce Working Group currently, and we've had some internal discussions as to what expectations come with such a program, right? So according to you guys, what do you think makes a good mentor and a good mentee? And Kate, I'm going to start with you.
Thank you. I wanted this one to start off. I think a level of comfort and being able to have like open and honest conversations is incredibly important, as me and mine here do. Being able to have an openness and vulnerability with each other to share ideas and bounce things off of each other is very important, but also being able to call each other out if something isn't sitting right, or maybe was hurtful in the way that it was said. I think that is incredibly important, because if you don't have an openness and an honest relationship where you both feel safe to be able to express whatever needs to be expressed, then it's not really going to benefit either party. So that's pretty important.
Dorothy?
I will go. A good mentor, you know, someone who's supportive, encouraging, listens. And another thing I found with the mentorship I've had is the connections you're able to make and the networking. You know, maybe it's someone who you can connect with, you know, Kate or Devon, or, you know, get people more exposure in the industry, and help them in their goals that they have. So.
Very interesting. Devon, would you like to go next?
I think being able to listen is huge. So being able to take that feedback, and sometimes it can be not what you were expecting, or it can be not hurtful, and then being able to grow from that. And I think I have mentors within the produce industry, but outside the produce industry, so having a diverse set of people around you throughout your life.
Thank you. Colleen.
So I have the same thing as I have 3 mentees, and I'm not trying to offend anybody here by using this, but I like to call them my mentals. They all started sort of with me and worked part-time for me, or I worked with them, one of them she's in another industry, and now they all do something different, vastly different. And so I think it's really important when you're a mentor as well to understand that it's not just about produce. You got to look outside of yourself as well, and some of them are life learning moments or experience learning moments. And then as the mentee, to be open to listening to those as well, and listen, with open ears, and listen to understand and to hear, as opposed to just listening. There's a difference in all of that. But I've had these 3 as my mentees for about, I think like 18 years or something like that. Since they were very young, because they're all much younger than I am. And we catch up probably at least once a month about how things are going and everything. And you keep that relationship, and I think that's really an important thing, to have that longevity as well with it. Even if you're not talking once a month, if you're talking once every 6 months, you remember all of those things, and it's important to keep that.
You're right. So now that we've talked about what makes a good mentor and a good mentee, let's turn to the other perspective. And what are some of the pitfalls potentially that could happen in a mentor-mentee relationship, and how could we overcome these challenges? Devon, do you want to start?
I think just one pitfall is sometimes you look to people above you, and you don't diversify and look to other people within the organization, so that you're learning more and you get a different perspective, kind of like cross-promoting and marketing. Let's bring different things together.
Yep.
I haven't experienced a pitfall in mentor, but I think you have to go beyond just the work relationship. Like, you have to really collaborate together, your emotions and your relationship and everything about that. But it's not just let's talk about business. It's the whole life. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Kate, did you want to go next?
Sure. For me, I think it would be a lack of dedication or a lack of respect, which is kind of coincides basically, right? Like, if you have a mentor or you have a mentee and they're giving you their time, which is such a valuable asset in this industry, we don't have a lot of it, and a lot of us struggle with the work-life balance, that if you set a time for a meeting, you need to show up for the meeting and you need to be accountable for what you're doing. So I think if somebody isn't really willing to give that dedication that's required, that maybe you shouldn't be partaking in anything like that.
Absolutely.
That's such a good answer. I was going to say time too. Yes, it's so true though. It's so true. You didn't share notes before.
Stole it.
But yeah, it's so true. And if it's not working, let's say it's Monday at 2:00 and it's not working, speak up about it. Figure out a new plan. Because like Kate's saying, time's valuable, and the industry we're in moves fast. And so, not just sticking to the time to start, but the time to end too. It's easy to have a great conversation and go, but at the same time, making sure you're respecting the time that you've put aside for it.
And I think on the respecting the time as well, you should also recognize that a person that you think would be an excellent mentor for you may not be the fit that you need. And you have to recognize that for yourself as well as the mentor. Maybe that person doesn't do it as well. You have that time commitment and everything that you're doing, and if it's not what you're getting from it, you may find that, this person is who I would like as a mentor. I hope she would take me on, or he would take me on. But it may not be that fit for you, and you should recognize that from the outset, and say, I don't think this is a good fit. Nobody will be would be offended by that, because they don't want to waste their time either on either side. So I think that's quite important to remember to do as well.
Absolutely. You're not doing the other person a favor if you're staying in a relationship that's just not a fit, right?
Correct.
So I've already mentioned the ongoing development of the CPMA Women in Produce program. So the program aims to facilitate connections between mentors and mentees through a structured pairing process. However, I'm curious to hear about your personal experiences. How did you initially connect with your mentor or mentee? And what advice would you offer to others seeking to make that connection? Dorothy, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. a lot of the produce industry connections I've made are people I work with or people in the industry. So also in that, people that you're sitting next to at work, maybe finding out what their goals are, talking to them, and then if there's something you can do to support them in their goals, or maybe they're interested in marketing and you can make sure they're connected with the right people in your company to work toward those goals. It doesn't always have to be a formal mentor-mentee relationship. It can be little things you can do every day to help support people. And then you're also someone they can reach out to for questions or problems. So, yeah.
Devon, let's go with you next.
I've never been formally matched up with a mentor. It's always just been sort of an organic fit, which I think then you both come together naturally, which is nice. On the mentee side, I have been matched up, and I think then you feel sort of like proud to support that person and really want to help them and listen to their goals, and you want them to succeed, which makes you feel really good as a mentor.
Thank you. Colleen?
So for me as well, I haven't really ever been set up on one, but I have had people in the industry or even friends who said, you should meet up with so-and-so, they'd be so good for you. I can arrange it or whatever, but you should meet this person. And the same thing, getting a mentee, like they've said, you'd be a great mentor to this person. You should try and hook up, they would be really good with you. So that's sort of what I've used as finding people or whatever that I need.
Interesting. Kate?
So for me, I was set up with a mentor through the PFP program, which actually, during the program, it actually really worked out for us very well. And so I still get insights and information from her throughout my career consistently. But with that being said, I'm outside of, I guess, work life, in terms of inspirations and stuff, we can find that throughout our life daily, whether it's through our friends or even listening to podcasts or stuff. We're always able to get insights from things if we're looking in the right spot. And so don't just lock yourself in and be like, oh yes, this is the person that's going to give me the answers, or this person's going to guide me. We can get answers all the time anywhere, but we just have to be open to it and realize that it's a lesson that's going to be taught to us or that we're going to find anywhere at any time. So that's my thing.
Thank you. So let's leave our audience with a valuable takeaway that they can apply to their own professional journeys. Could each of you share one key insight you've learned from a mentor or an industry leader that has become a guiding principle in your career? Do you want to go first, Devon?
Sure. I had a mentor tell me once that I asked too many questions.
Oh, that's kind.
But I said that's how I like to learn, and that's how I don't think there's a silly question or you can't ask enough questions. And even ask, I met Pamela a few months ago. We just ask questions and learn so much. I think that's how you continue to learn. And I think also don't be afraid of your mentee growing beyond what you expect them to. My mentee, I hope that she has skills I don't have, and I hope that she blossoms into this unreal person so that we can then be a great team together. So
it's amazing. You surround yourself with strong people. That's always a winning combination. Thank you, Devon. Kate?
So for me, I guess, I have kind of a motto that I would like to, is that my time is not your time. And so I think that there's a lot of urgency that might be coming from somebody else, but that's not a priority on my list. And so a lot of us, I think, will be like, oh my gosh, I really got to get back to this person. And it's you need to also respect my time and my list. And I might have other priorities. There's 10 above you, and I will get back to you when I can. And so for us to really internalize that and remember, we just have to relax, because other people have to understand that we're not on the same schedule. So that's one. And then the other one is be mad at the problem and not the person.
Dorothy, you're
something that my current leader talks about all the time, and it resonates so much, is it's about relationships. And it's easy to maybe send an email or text someone to communicate, but pick up the phone and talk to someone. You're going to get all kinds of information about maybe them, their personality, ways you connect that enrich the relationship. And then when maybe some bad news comes up, you've got a little relationship to build on to break the bad news or share the good news. Things like the CPMA or shows and events, make a point to connect with people face to face. It's really powerful. Even if it's just for a couple minutes, stop by a booth, meet for coffee, meet in the lobby. And also, if you see someone across the room, don't be afraid to walk up and say hello. It's can be intimidating, but it's powerful. It's powerful, that face-to-face interaction. So yeah, it's about relationships.
It is, especially in produce. It's all about
Right?
relationships.
Yeah.
Colleen?
So mine is a hard lesson learned, and I probably have only learned it in the past year, even though I've tried to do it every time, is to temper my expectations and try and remember that not everybody learns or does things at the same pace as you. I'm a person who likes to go, well, I've gotten older now, so it's a little bit it's less than 100 miles an hour now, but I used to like to go 100 miles an hour, and the things that I wanted to accomplish yesterday. But I had to remember that with my team, that they're not going to go at that same pace, and to make sure that I temper those expectations that I have for myself, and realize that other people do go at different paces, and to make those exceptions for that, and not be, as you said, mad at the problem, not at the person. I really have to make sure and remind myself to do that. And if you can remember that for your teams, I think it's really important. And they end up valuing themselves and their position on your team that much more, because they make those expectations. It may not be in your timeline, but it will be in theirs, and they will get there. And you just have to remember to be a little bit more patient. So those are the things, and that would be the same in a mentor-mentee relationship as well. Is you may be looking at this mentor to give you like your aha, wow, here's light coming down from the sky for me. I've learned this thing, but it's a process, and it takes a little bit of time. And just to keep that in mind when you're doing it, that it does take time.
So I guess I have a follow-up question for you, Colleen, because you're on the mentor side. You were saying you have 3 mentees under you right now, okay?
Correct.
How often or how time-consuming is that? Would you say that 3 is the magic number, and anything above that gets a little bit hard to manage?
The 3 of us they are all young, they have young children and things, so even if it's texting, we'll text or we'll FaceTime for 5 minutes while a kid's running in the background for them. Like, we'll pretty much take any kind of time that we can. And sometimes it's, I'm in an airport, or they're in an airport, or whatever, and that's what we do. But I'm very aware of trying to keep a relationship. I work very hard at keeping friendships. I've got friends. I have a very good friend who I'm meeting next week as well, and we've been friends for 30 years. We've never lived in the same city, in the same country, or in the same time zone. But we meet up twice a year, we talk on the phone, and I'm very aware that that's what I need to do. So I keep those kinds of relationships, and I just try and fit it in when they have time as well, and we try and get there. And if we're not, it doesn't make a difference to us. We know there's going to be another time.
I love that. And I guess same question to you, Devon, because you're also a mentor. So is it structured meetings? How do you normally do it? Do you do side texts whenever you have a chance to talk? How is it that you meet up with your mentee?
Ours isn't scheduled, just much more when there's a question or a thought or something. I mean, we could meet up and there's nothing, and other times we might chat every day or text every day, but just whatever's available and whatever's natural. And
go with the flow.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
I like that. So now that we've had the opportunity to hear from these 4 lovely ladies, we're going to open the floor to a bit of a Q&A session. Does anybody have any questions? We have the lovely Jane right here in the back with a microphone. Don't be shy.
Just put up your hand. So just out of curiosity, when you're referencing mentor relationships that you have or mentee relationships, how many of them, if any, are based on a direct report structure? Like they became your kind of natural mentor or mentee because you reported to them and vice versa? And how does that kind of affect how that relationship evolves versus, we'll call it an organic mentorship where you're not directly reporting to each other?
So my mentor is my direct boss. But over the years, because obviously I've been there for a long time, as has he, we've become friends. And so it kind of takes that out of the scopes. So we have some personal stuff, and we're very good about keeping what's personal is personal and what's work is work. And for my 3 mentees, except for one, 2 of them reported to me, and then they moved on to other jobs. But we all still stayed in touch, and they had some pitfalls, they needed some advice, and that's just kind of grew organically, as Devon said.
Would anyone else like to chime in?
Yes, I'll go.
Okay.
A little bit of both for me. So some direct reports, people that, again, work with you. Hey, what are your goals? Let me help you do that. And again, some have moved on, but still, keeping in touch, going to lunch once in a while if you can, or if they moved to a different city, texting on birthdays and, checking in on that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, for me, it's not necessarily, it's somebody from another company that is my mentor. But with that being said, there's still those blips throughout, right? Like, so my boss, I watch what he does. I pay attention. And so things that I would maybe like mimic or mirror, then I'll add that into me. But that's more of like a pick and choose for me, as opposed to like my mentor is more in line with me. And then like the outside sources again, right? It can also be somebody you work with. It can be your boss. It could be somebody who works in the warehouse, right? Like their work ethic and what they do. It's not necessarily always a direct thing. Always watching.
Jessica, can I just say? So
yeah, sure.
The other thing I want that to keep in mind too, it doesn't have to be if you're a female to have a female mentor.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You can have a male mentor as well. They bring something to the table. They're usually allies of women. There are certain things that they will not understand. They will not understand certain things about stuff. And that's just because we're female, they're male. That's just the way it is. But don't pigeonhole yourself to only having a female mentor, because you can learn so much from everybody. And just kind of remember that. But if you're looking because you're having a bit of a blip on your career or in your company with things that you don't feel that maybe your male boss doesn't understand, then really you try and find a female mentor to help you through those things. But really don't, because you're female, do not pigeonhole yourself into only having female mentors. That's really important.
Yeah.
Colleen, I have my notes here, but one of them was male, female is okay. I think you're just, it's more of a diverse relationship then. And you get a different perspective, as you were saying.
Great answers. I agree with you guys. Some of my biggest cheerleaders in this industry are men, so they're good allies. Anybody else have any questions?
So Can I ask just one?
Yes.
So it's a quick thing. So of all of you have had mentors. Can each of you say one thing that you learned from your mentor that's kind of something that it doesn't have to be a guiding principle, just something that it was like, oh, that's an aha moment for me, and I'm going to remember that.
Don't cry at work. Nobody ever likes a crybaby.
No crying in produce. No crying in produce.
That's what he said. Cry all the way home, cry all the way here. Don't cry at work. Nobody respects a crybaby.
Gosh.
Because women cry for different reasons. We cry because we're frustrated, not because we're upset.
Yeah.
But men don't understand that, so that's what he told me. I never cried again at the office.
We're going to have a little session for her later. Not just her. Oh, there you go.
Gosh, that's a tough one. What's that?
Putting me on the spot. I'm like, from a mentor I just got, they told me to not cry at work, to cry at home, or cry in the car. Thanks, Colleen.
Mentoring moment right here.
There you go.
Anybody else want to jump in?
I think to just be different and do things differently. So don't follow the path of what everyone else is doing. It's okay to go in the other way, and then just make sure that you've got people to support you on that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anybody else want? It's okay if you don't. No, we got a question. time for one more question.
Yay, Passion for Produce Fest.
Yay.
You mentioned you had a mentor that's outside your company. Did you make that aware to your boss, or is it kind of like kept on the down low?
He knows.
Okay.
He knows. Yeah. Went for breakfast with her this morning. He knows. Oh, one. Sorry. No, it's okay.
One of the things that I'm really curious about is you've all talked about your mentees and how sometimes your mentees have moved on beyond, the companies that you were with. Are they still in the produce industry? Do you mentor those people even though they're not within this industry?
I have one who's in the industry but on the tech side. I have one that's in banking, and I have one that's in food service. And it really doesn't matter to me, and it doesn't matter to them. So,
yeah, and the same. The folks that have moved on, one had a baby and chose to stay home and support her family that way. And so, again, she's someone I go to lunch with every once in a while and keep in touch with, just about life. She's a new mom. Maybe I have things that I can share with her about that part of her life, and maybe not work related at all, but just a friend and someone that can be supportive. And then, other people that have moved on to totally different industries, get a call once in a while, can I use you for a reference? And so that's always good too.
You? I have my current mentee. I moved on to a different company, and she called me and asked if she could come with me, which was, that's pretty special. So we're still working together, which is really nice.
Proof that you're a great mentor. Kate, did you know? We're done?
No, it's okay. I don't have any mentees,
She's good.
just a mentor. But I'm going to do a shout out because Jessica won the Young Professionals Award.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much. A big thank you for being here, you guys. Your stories and insights, I'm sure, have been helpful to more than one person here today. So, as women in the industry, come to us, talk to us if you need us. We're here to support each other, and that applies to men too, obviously. But we're all here for you, and a big thank you to the audience for tuning in today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. And to the listeners, thank you for listening. Remember, you can subscribe to Produce Talks at Apple Podcasts, Simplecast, Spotify, and on most other podcast players. Until next time, fill half your plate with fruits and veggies, continue to seek out new knowledge, and basically never stop growing.